Hello, my name is Michael Richardson. What we want to share with y'all in the show that we're putting together, and the first part of it's going to be communication. You know, there's lots of times we think about communication, and we might think of it as, I'm going to move my horse to the right or I'm going to move my horse to the left. But what goes and what's involved in the process of that? So we've used Bonnie. We introduced Bonnie at Chris and Christy Garcia's house, where they had a beautiful arena that we've been using and will continue to use. And we'll film there in Stephenville, Texas, as well as here in Hyco at my place. And the objective is the refinement. You'll notice that we introduced Bonnie to a caveson, and basically it's a bitless headstall. And the reason behind that is to address the nuances, the softness that's involved as you take a feel of one rein and they softly yield their muzzle to that in that direction. She had been started with the bit and did quite well, but we want to go back again to the refining this process of communication to develop their mind in such a way that they're working with you and not against you, to building that team between the horse and the human to have success as they move forward in the development of their education. So in this series, we're going to talk about the softness communication of the horse to the rider, and from the rider to the horse, how important your position is, how important the softness is with your legs and your torso, and not tightening up and hindering or blocking that communication. So what we're trying to do at the arena was the first introduction to the caveson. Then we progressed broader to Hyco, to our place, to Broken R Ranch and Broken R Horsemanship, to be able to share that softness that was created in the first session in the arena to out here in the field that's wide open. There's no fences per se in the work that we're doing, and they did an exceptional job. And we want to help people understand how we can refine things in the understanding of our position, the understanding of the communication through the rein and the softness that's developed there, as well as how do you use your legs in the process of this to helping support the horse. Because remember, our hands and our legs are aids to our mind and our torso and our seat, and that communication that comes in developing that softness with the horse. So we really want to introduce you to this. We really welcome you to have comments and questions, and please stay tuned, because this is a great endeavor, and I'm so incredibly grateful to be able to work with Chris and Christy Garcia and their boys to how we develop this horsemanship to not only us as adults, but also taking it and carrying it on to kids. And so we'll have the kids be involved in this process, and I feel that's very important. So stay tuned. Love to see you back.
What would I do if not for the gift of the horse? Thank you, Lord, for the gift of the
horse. In a manner of just really developing and working towards that softness. So when we think of it as communication, if you just start to think about taking a feel of a rein, we want her to start to say, oh, I'm there. And she's very soft on her own anyway, and so this will continue to develop that softness.
Okay.
So whoever right around us, feel of it. And as soon as she yields like that, just give it back to her. Because you're going off of the fact that it's not the you taking a feel of a rein, it's you releasing that rein. It's how she's learning.
Okay.
So it's not the application of it, it's the release of it. So she can walk around and just remember, you're going to grab the majority of the reins in one hand and slide your other hand down, but not slide your hand down where you're bringing your shoulders forward and extending your arm all the way. It's maintaining your position, but then just taking a feel of it, and then just give it back to her. If she makes a smaller circle or turn, that's fine. Now, take the feel of the reins in your right hand and slide your left hand down. There you go. Good, good. Don't worry about where she goes. Now slide your right hand down. Way at it, girl. Good. Now try not to hold those reins like a teacup. Make sure you're clasping the rein, because if you take a feel and she throws her head to the opposite way and pulls that out of your hand, she's not learning the right thing. She's learning how to evade you. So you're thinking of merely taking up the slack, not pulling. I like how you're doing it. You're thinking about releasing earlier than you might otherwise, which is great. Ideally, you want to release on the attempt of response, not the actual response. So as you take a feel of that rein, and she ever so slightly brings that muzzle to the right, you're giving it back to her. That's great. Now we like the fact of how she's using her head and neck. She's trying to stretch her neck out and lower her head. And we know that the head and neck are an aid to balance, an aid to propulsion. So, yep. So, back to our communication. With this caveson, you're utilizing it again to develop softness, but you're also stimulating her mind to think about, as you take a feel that, what do I need to do to rid myself of that hold, of that contact? And she might bring her head up, she might bring her head the opposite way, she might lower her head, and all those things are to no avail. And then she says, well, maybe I'll try to bring my head that way, and you give it back to her. Now, the light bulb isn't gone on, and she says, oh my gosh, I got it. What is happening is she's saying, if I start thinking through this and finding a way to find that release, then you're stimulating her mind to think with you as opposed to against you. So you're utilizing the caveson, the head stall, the reins, and how you're presenting it to her by what we're seeing here as a way for her to start working with you, as opposed to saying, I'm a 3-year-old, I want to do my own thing, and I don't pay any attention to you.
How was that?
That was good. Remember, clasp those reins. There you go. Now, right there, as her head was turned to the rod, and she's looking over there a little bit, and you're taking a feel, and she's still bringing her head, her muzzle that way towards your hand, but yet keeping her head to the right, that's okay. As long as you're finding and developing that communication through that rein. And the other thing that's important is your position. You want to make sure, like we've worked on, that your position is such that your leg's underneath you like it is, your weight is over your seat like it is. You don't want to be tipped forward on your pubic bone. You want to sit back in the middle of your pelvic girdle, or in some cases on your pockets. You got a little more curve today in your thoracic lumbar, your lower back. So maybe try to lift up a little bit and bring your seat forward just a little bit. There you go. That's better. And remember, when you lift your torso, think about between your shoulder blades, not sticking your chest out. Because when you stick your chest out, you over-exaggerate that curve. And anytime you over-exaggerate a curve in your spine, you're compromising its ability to have that balance through your torso. So, as people will see when they see this, and you'll see it, it's ideally ear, shoulder, hip, heel. But your alignment's good. It's good. Now make sure that, here, stop a moment if you can. camera here, exaggerate, taking your hand and extending your arm and bringing your shoulders forward. Bring your shoulders forward like that. That you don't want. You don't want to bring your hand so far forward that you've brought a shoulder forward or you're bringing your shoulders in front of your vertical. What happens there is it takes you out of position, one, and it decreases your ability to communicate through your seat, through your leg contact, and your ability to move with the horse and feel that up through your torso. Now your spine is kind of a tuning fork. You want to be able to hit that tuning fork and feel that vibration. The same is true with your horse. You want to be able to feel that horse through your seat, up through your body. Think about what you're accomplishing in your mind, what you're doing. Get that information together and then send it back down through your body into the horse, i.e. moving your hips in a forward figure 8 motion, as opposed to being rigid. Don't want to be rigid. You want to be able to feel that horse. So at first, you let the horse move you, and then you build on it. Now where we're coming in, go ahead and walk off. Thank you for showing that as an example. What's really nice here is how Bonnie is utilizing her head and neck as you have taken a feel, and then as she comes around towards your hand, and as you release that. She's wanting to stretch your neck out and lower her head, and that's what we're working towards, because if we can't get a horse to utilize their head and neck that way, as we start building and you start developing, helping the horse collect, you're not going to be able to get that horse moving as freely as you would if you approach it this way, at least in the way that I think about it. Now, there are a lot of ways to develop a young horse. Y'all have done a fine job before we ever introduced the caveson. But this will continue to add to what you have done and also add to her education as we continue to progress. So you gotta breathe, you gotta smile. We're on camera here. Oh, nice smile. That was a good one.
I'm focused.
Just focus. You gotta dance a little bit, girl. That girl. There you go. That's better. You have to breathe. You cannot breathe shallow. You gotta breathe down your diaphragm. And we know that from the work that you've done with Rocket and Tess, how important that is. We've seen that in your runs. We've seen that in the work, how you come down a downward transition by now taking a deep breath and blowing it out. So we know how essential that is.
Right.
So what I like with what I'm seeing here with Bonnie is how she's starting to use her head and neck, how she's freeing up through her shoulder, how she's allowing that softness to come all through her body and able to use that as it pertains to movement. Now, what does that mean? Well, we want to see her at least track up, meaning the footprint left by the front foot, we want that back leg to come and land in it. That's important. If she was real short with her hind legs and her movement and the way she stepped, we'd say, well, we need to do something to address that, and we'd start the process of elimination. Is it getting softer in the bridle? Is that helping? Maybe it's not helping. Then we start to address saddle position.
Okay.
That's a big thing as it pertains to communication.
Okay.
We know that if it's too far forward, it impedes the scapula, which hinders the ability to move freely with their front legs. They can't move freely with their front legs. What do we think it's doing to their back legs? They're not going to be able to move freely. So, as you take a feel of a rein now, I want you to think about taking a deep breath, exhaling, and over-exaggerate the movement through your seat and your hips. So as the left or right fore goes forward, let your right hip go with it. As the left fore goes forward, let your right hip in that figure 8 motion. There you go. And anything that she gives you, thinking of the fact that she's trying to lengthen her stride a little bit, that's a good thing. And you take the time to love her up and let her go, that's fantastic. Just like you do with Tess and Rocket. Very good. Very, very good.
not for